once in a while, you make your head feel like concrete. Every once in a while, I can tell you don't want me. I remember your smile, I remember that something. Every once in a while, every once in a while, I'm blinded by love again. 'Cause you have my hand, you make my heart whole again, yeah. You saved my life, you are my heart to free. Once in a while, you make your head feel like concrete. Every once in a while, I can tell you don't want me. I remember your smile, I remember that something. Every once in a while, every once in a while, I'm blinded by love again. 'Cause you have my hand, you make my heart whole again, yeah. You saved my life, you are my heart to free.
Even a betterment. Two imperfect people that love each other perfectly. That's what you and Taylor are. You're not an island. Don't ever keep it to yourself. I did that for many years. Don't ever, you can. Never go at it by yourself, son. I love you and thank you for listening to me, okay? Put this into your process. Bring hope to the people that hear your music, son. Love is real and it's alive and no one can take it away from you. No one can take it away from me. We're in charge of our own happiness.
Just like you, I can. You met me in the back of a Saturn. It's ironic cause I met you 2 years before your metamorphosis took its course. You never believed in heaven. We became Five Flower Lake, and though even pure gold can't force souls to reach a broken man. If water can turn to wine and a worm to a butterfly, then so what if I believe a flower can bloom beneath the concrete? God told me the line you draw for impossible is where you set your box and lay in it. I'll lay anywhere with you. Dial the sun and drift. Build. Water wheel in the field of sunflowers as if no consequence exists. Water wheel. Just like you are. Just like you, I can't erupt.
Love survives it all of it.
Cream Fago, man. I feel like whole much problem, man. You already know, man. Let's get this, man. You dig what I'm saying? We're in for shit, man. Big diamonds on deck, man. You dig what I'm saying? Pockets so now that they fill with the guap. Pockets so now that they fill with the guap. Pockets so now that they fill with the. Man, the thing telling them we on the first, yeah. You dig what I'm saying? You feel me? First Pockets so now that they fill with the guap. Yeah. Pockets so now that they fill with the guap. Pockets so now that they fill with the guap. Ain't got that color, so young nigga plot. Running for cause I hot dope in my sock. That Draco be shooting, man, I cannot box. Look at my bitch, she look like a fox. Stacking my money, investing in stocks. Diamonds I cool off, I'm feeling so hot. 2018, I rockin' no Jordans. I cannot stop till my car is a phone. Gelato from Cali, it tastes like a orange. Go to Miami, I hop on the boat. A nigga so fly, but I never so dope. Don't hang with them niggas, cause they do the most. I be like Kennedy, niggas be ghosts. White model big shit, she play with a no. Got a new iPhone, I started with hoes. Damn, I love when she be dust on the pole. For my outfit, I spoil her clothes. So like an AI, I give and I go. Yeah, I just lesson, but no, I can't love her. These niggas bluffing, they know they can't fuck her. Damn it, my sister, damn it, my mother. Man, rain on my clothes, man, rain on my covers. Love package stinking, it smell like some mustard. My diamonds like readers, they icy, they clustered. Mixing and leaning, it tastes like some gushers. You smoking the backward, but I been in Russia. White model bitch and I'm better than Russia. Diamonds so cool like I got them from Russia. Diamonds be dancing like I got them from Usher. Dress in my head, man, I feel like Busta Rhymes.
Just a OD kid from the city out. I've been at it all, yeah, the residuals. You've been at it always, such a cynical. Don't go fucking up my day with your ridicule. Mama, you don't have to tell me I'm a boss now. When you have it all they do is mimic you. When you have it all they wanna do is finish you. Niggas should've fucking played cool. If you did, I probably would've made the same moves. Problem is, you probably would've been the same you. But if all you wanna do is fucking hate, cool. You can catch me and my shorty in the same coupe. With a loony on the dash, feeling rave proof. Still the same Johnny Rain, I just paid dues. Don't hit me up when you see me out with Jay. I ain't got nothing to say to you. Don't fuck up my way. Acting brand new with the physical. Still the same young dude, you don't feel it though. So dramatic all day with your ridicule. I've been packing MJ, smooth criminal. You was hating on me then, what's the dilly now? It was funny to you then, is it silly now? Cause you single with a baby at your mom's house. I got the rock now, glad I didn't save you. You can catch us switching lanes in the same coupe. Still the same OD, we don't change crews. Don't hit me up when you see my family. We ain't got nothing to say to you. Don't fuck up my way. my ex, just saw my exes. They made a left, we made a left. I never stress, they hardly exist. I'm way too petty, my baby so precious. Her and my mama just got matching Benzes. Don't know what's next, hopped out, no flex. Birds come and go, they all regret this. You need some wealth, align yourself. I'm at the bread on top of them. I'm at the bread on top of them. I'm at the bread on top of them. I need to show forgiveness. I'm at the bread on top of them. I'm at the bread on top of them. I'm at the bread on top of them. No love for the patience. I was sent to do greatness. Keep away with your fake bullshit. I'm a legend in the making. I can feel I'm about to take it. Everybody saying you the one, we live in the matrix. I'm trying to be. Just blew 150 in a month. The irony. Jay hit my line, said we gon' take what we want. Tell him all I want $1 million. At least $1 million for the melodies. I remember I was selling trees. I remember I was selling what? Wishing we could have some better things. Young nigga with a triple beam. Young nigga with the medicine. T-Mac was a magazine. White girls that do anything. I swear to God, I'll make you lose your mind. I was just finessing through the streets. Back when I was only 17, barely have a single memory. Almost lost my sanity. Now a nigga turning 23, but all just for the family. Whole squad full of villains, was a cold motherfucker, still I is. That's just my hood. Squad ain't even on payroll, I still get you if I say so. What's next?
It's been a long time and there was a lot of weed in my life. Okay. My memory.
Kantje qua?
Nee. Maar wat was uw vraag?
Wat is eigenlijk uw beste herinnering?
Is het begin. Tuurlijk. De grote naam van de mode zijn. Wat was onze droom? Ik denk wel dat ik nooit had kunnen doen wat ik deed als ik niet zo'n krachtige ontwerper naast mij had dan Marta Margiela. Nooit. En andersom. Al dat we deden was breken met wat dat ervoor was. Dat geeft je op de lange duur een vrijheid. Dat je niet moet beantwoorden aan het systeem. In feite waren we allen twee zeer extreem. Van die alle grenzen te verbreken, hadden wij beiden. Ja. En ik heb altijd gezegd, als je niet klaar bent om te verliezen, kun je ook niet winnen. Dat is mijn principe.
Somebody like Martin needed somebody like Jenny. What they did, it was a kind of revolutionary in the history of fashion. Because it was not only about clothes. I mean, it had nothing to do with something that has to be used, consumed, and thrown away, you know? It was something with a soul.
Ik geloof dat ik Martijn heb ontmoet in Brussel of in Antwerpen, dat weet ik niet meer. Ik geloof in Antwerpen, in de Tom Tom, dat was een nightclub. En toen vertelde Jenny dat ze met hem ging beginnen. Zo, en dan was het, kun je meegaan naar Italië, omdat we een model nodig hebben voor de fabrikant, voor de kleren te laten zien. En dan na een paar maanden was het, kun je komen naar Parijs, want we hebben hulp nodig. En dan ging ik. Zij waren altijd maar aan het praten in de auto, overal aan het rijden in Italië. Zo. En nu was ik altijd maar aan het luisteren. En dan soms zei ik, wat wil dat zeggen? En dan was voor hun van, oh, die zit er ook bij. Maar daardoor begreep je hoe serieus dat was.
Lucia, ci siamo divertite però con Martene.
Moltissimo, moltissimo, direi che è una parte molto importante della nostra storia, della sua soprattutto, e e una crescita molto importante anche per me.
Anche perché lui era molto simpatico.
Era simpatico e sapeva bene cosa voleva.
Cosa voleva, con le idee chiare.
Idee molto chiare. E visto che veniva qua da lei, niente era impossibile, ci si arrivava in fondo, ci si arrivava anche molto provati, ma ci si arrivava. Andiamo di qua.
Personaggio notevole come...
direi come pochi nella storia.
Bello.
No, però è incredibile che i ragazzi si chiedono veramente se è esistito, oppure ti chiedono ma tu l'hai visto, ma com'è?
Era un bellissimo ragazzo,
molto
sempre
bello,
col suo berretto in
poi
testa.
con un carisma incredibile. Io mi ricordo quando De Anna conobbe Martin e aveva deciso che avremmo lavorato con Martin, mi chiamò e mi disse: sai Lucia, ho conosciuto un ragazzo giovane che ha tante idee, è molto pieno di vita, ha delle idee straordinarie, diverse da quello che si vede in giro, però mi sento che sarà una persona molto... che si farà molta strada perché ha delle idee molto decise. E vedrai, ho pensato che lo faremo insieme e se ti divertirai tanto, sono sicura che ci divertiremo tanto perché sono cose diverse che faremo da oggi in poi rispetto al passato.
Voor mij, mijn eerste herinnering, om het zo te zeggen, is dus dat Martin en Jenny uren en uren en uren babbelen over mode. Ja, en toen was dat toch wel al duidelijk dat er, denk ik, toen een vriendschap was tussen hun beiden. Als je zegt dat de eerste show het moment is, de start is, je kan het zo bezien, maar eigenlijk waren ze al maanden bezig, ook met al die voorbereidingen. Hè. Dus ik denk dat Jenny en Martin toch wel zeker een jaar met twee gewerkt hebben om die eerste show te kunnen brengen. Ja.
Het was een klein theatertje, ik geloof Café de la Gare. En dan weet ik nog, dan moest je de trappen af en door de mensen naar boven, helemaal naar boven, waar dat het pikkendonker was. Dan ben ik natuurlijk direct gevallen, want ik kon niks meer zien. Ik ben gevallen op de mensen, want dat hebben ze niet kunnen zien. Enfin, en dan liep je zo terug naar beneden, snel een andere dingen aan doen. Want ik geloof dat we drie outfits hadden, snel aan het... Ja, dat was ongelooflijk.
Ik weet ook dat ik aanwezig was bij de fittings. Ik weet dat ik aanwezig was bij de casting van de modellen. Ik weet dat ik aanwezig was bij het maken van die grote bruine papieren waar al die foto's op hingen met de outfits. En dat duurde tot 's morgens. Dat ik op een gegeven moment zei, Martijn, maar ik moet wel morgen schminken. Ik hou dat niet meer vol. Het was ook mijn eigen fout. Ik wou er ook altijd bij zijn en zo. Maar ik was heel betrokken.
Ik weet nog dat ik heel zenuwachtig was. En dat ik wist niet wat ik moest doen met mijn armen. En ik zei, Martijn, mag ik mijn arm in mijn rug zetten? En hij zegt, je doet maar wat je wilt. En dat was met die tattoo-t-shirt. Want dat plakte en ik wist niet, wat moet ik nou doen? En dan zei hij, ga maar. Zo.
En toen heb je het zo gedaan?
Ja, maar ik wil maar zeggen, dus hij was daar uiteindelijk, hij vond dat grappig, dat stuntelige, dat... Weet je wel, daarin was hij heel... Het ongekunstelde, denk ik, dat hij daarachter was. Dat hij niet... Enfin, in het vrouwbeeld.
En ik weet nog één opmerking ook van iemand die zei van... Dit is nu alles wat ik vandaag gezien heb, wat ik niet wilde zien. Achteraf denk ik dat er veel spijt gekomen is. Maar dat wil zeggen dat dat op dat moment shock was.
You have blue eyes too. Yeah, light eyes. Yeah.
Suddenly everything that had happened in fashion before was over. You know, in the 80s, women were all about glamour and kind of, you know, shut up and be beautiful. You know, it was all about this unattainable thing that you could always see in magazines, but that had nothing to do with your life, at least not with my life. Whereas, in a way, Margiela, there was, you know, they were streetwise, they were slightly dirty even, you know, the kind of second-hand clothes, T-shirts, you know, it was all, it was what I thought women were like. I had this double-page photo of ID magazine Margiela. And I remember being so struck by this photo, because it was so unlike anything. And that I really felt like, this is what I actually like. You know, the women that I knew, they were like that. So when Margiela happened, it seemed that you were at the right moment, at the right place. And I think that was what created this sense of community. You were in the same thing that you were all getting, or that spoke to you in a very specific way, at a very specific moment.
Kon je een heel klein beetje een indruk krijgen van wat de ambitie was die daaraan...
Om echt een huis te stichten. Allee, een merk. Dat was groot. Het was zeker niet kleinschalig. Het was, we willen het hier maken.
Ja?
Ja.
En waaruit concludeerde je?
Maar met zeer... Omdat ik Jenny kende en omdat Martin was heel serieus, hè. Een heel serieus iemand. Heel hoe zeg je dat? Gedediceerd? Hoe zeg je dat?
Ja,
zeg je dat in
vastberaden.
Ja, en zeer... dat was helemaal geen vuifnummer of feestnummer of niks, hè. Nee, hè.
And this is actually the building.
Huh?
The one next to the Monoprix, Boulevard Strasbourg, Saint-Denis. And it was on the 3rd floor, where the shutters are half closed. And Martin's office and the atelier were on the other side.
Okay.
Because I knew how to sew, I was kind of carried around through the different ateliers and people that needed somebody that could do something for no pay. And I was interested in seeing how it works. Actually, where the flag is, this was Martin's office. If I think about it, that this part here, around this building, was probably the most intense. When you were in it, you definitely had no option. I mean, you could not be half there, or it was totally impossible. And this is also probably why some people use the word sect in regards to the company at one point, because there was no choice. It's yes or no.
We hadden geen geld. Maar ik moet zeggen, iemand die de kunst heeft van niet cheap een klasse te maken, is toch wel Martin. Als je dat dan in zijn geheel zag, was dat zeer mooi. Alles was in het wit. En dat is duidelijk Martin dat bepaald heeft. Dat is altijd gebleven. Die magie van toen is altijd gebleven. Het uniform, we hadden witte schorten. Omdat dat schoon was, dat dat allemaal wit was. En in een show kon je dadelijk zien wie deel uitmaakte van het huis en wie niet. Jean-Baptiste, Sophie, Vicky, Elsa, ik, Lies, Bob Verelst, Joschko, Axel, Lutz.
Nina. Toch?
Nina. Daar.
Ja.
Ik nam altijd een voorbeeld aan Andy Warhol. Dat we een nest zouden maken van verschillende creatieve mensen. Maar Martijn heeft zo dat familiaal gevoel. Hij heeft dat niet. Hij heeft dat niet graag.
I was extremely happy when then they proposed me to come and work for them in Paris. And I said, to people at college, I've got this job at Margiela. Who? It wasn't, in general, such a big thing. Not everybody got Margiela at the time. So it wasn't, that was the other thing. It wasn't like everybody wanted to be there. It was not that many people got what Margiela was doing also.
Would you call it underground? Maybe that's a
Well,
wrong
it definitely
word.
was at the time. I mean, it's a word that doesn't exist anymore today because underground doesn't exist anymore, sadly. But at that moment, yes, I would say you felt part of something special.
For me, priority it was to feel good with myself and to do something that I was passionate, that I was fulfilled.
En dat team, ja, dat was eigenlijk gewoon ook het leuke. Hè? Ik had daar in een keer een hoop vrienden ook. Voor mij was dat een beetje een speeltuin, bij manier van spreken. Ik weet niet hoe dat ik dat moet zeggen. Voor mij was dat een beetje een soort van familie, thuisgevoel. Zo, de mensen met wie dat ik samenwerkte.
All these people who were just really lovely people and really open and friendly. And you felt like you were part of a family. At least in the beginning you did.
Dus dat is die fameuze show Terrain Vague. Sophie. Zij liep mee in de show.
Hier ook.
Dat is Grassa.
Oh, dat is Grassa, ja.
Alle shows waren chaos.
Ja?
Eigenlijk van in het begin was er altijd, naar mijn gevoel, meer volk dan dat er plaats was. Ik herinner mij eigenlijk alleen maar de chaos altijd, wat dat betreft.
Het systeem dat je hebt, zo first row, very important people, hè? Snap je wat ik wil zeggen? En dan de standing, nee, dat was iedereen gelijk voor de wet. Wat fantastisch was. Martijn was niet iemand die kikte op filmsterren of op bekende modellen, want die had je toen ook op een gegeven moment. De hip en de hype van al die famous models. En hij wou er absoluut niet aan meedoen. Hij vond het totaal niet relevant. En ook het feit dat er eigenlijk van begin af aan dat er niemand backstage kon komen buiten de mensen die hij had uitgenodigd. Maar wat wel gezegd werd, dat er geen foto van hem mocht getrokken worden. Dat wisten we wel.
Dat werd wel duidelijk.
Ja. Dat hij, handen en zo was geen probleem, maar geen gezicht.
Alles wat visueel uw zaak weerspiegelt, moet visueel beantwoorden aan een zeker imago. Hoe we verkochten, hoe dat we de kleren voorstelden. En natuurlijk de show. Alles. Dat alles moet kloppen, dat alles moet zijn zoals het hoort. Het een moet passen met het ander. De Belgische smaak heeft er ook veel mee te maken. De aanpak, ook zeer Belgisch. Een beetje surrealistisch. Over het algemeen. Niet pretentieus. Geen concessies maken. Op 1 seizoen hebben wij besloten van geen show te doen, maar de collectie te presenteren als ze in de winkels waren. Dat wij vonden, het is de klanten die in feite zouden moeten zien hoe de collectie gepresenteerd wordt. Het is zij die gestimuleerd moeten worden. Meer dan de pers. Daar hebben wij de grootste kritiek over gehad. En schande. De journalisten zeiden dat ze ons niet meer wilden spreken. Ik dacht, nu zijn we hier failliet. Het is hier het einde van het einde. En nu vinden ze iedereen dat ongelooflijk. Prijzen ze dat heel hoog aan. Dat wij dat gedurfd hebben. Dat het een concept was die ongelooflijk was. Maar op het begin heb ik nooit gedacht dat ik er mij zo diep zou insteken. En ik ben verschillende keren bijna failliet geweest. Hè. Ja. Dat ik niet wist hoe dat ik de dag daarna alles ging betalen. En blijven geloven. Ik heb nooit vertrouwen verloren.
Because I thought that this competes with this.
Okay, Patrick, do your final check.
And if I sit in the middle, maybe a bit more middle in the middle. If I sit here, yeah, it would be better.
This is good.
Yeah, I think so. Jenny saw talents in myself that I didn't even see myself. So I will remain very grateful for that. And so at that time, she was very enigmatic and very direct and to the point. But also, even though she was inside a system, she was observing it from the outside.
It's quite rare to have this mix between a person that can take care about a business. Let's say a businesswoman But the other part is like a person that is very visionary, very sensitive, but also behave like a mom, you know, for Martin, for the whole equipe. You know, she was kind of anchor of the house.
She was somebody who built the atmosphere and the behavior around Martin's designs, and for me was absolutely intrinsic to what Margiela is as a company. Maybe she was a muse very often when it came to the clothes. Martin designed the clothes, but for me, Margiela was honestly 50-50. The clothes wouldn't have been as powerful if the company didn't behave the way it was, and the company couldn't have behaved in the way that it did if the clothes weren't the way that they were.
Ja, deze vind ik gewoon... Ja, ik weet niet. Het is gewoon niet zo heel interessant.
Hoe kom je daaraan dan?
Deze is voor mijn moeder geweest, dus deze heb ik nooit gekocht. En zij wilde hem wegdoen. Ik zei, mam, ik bewaar hem wel. Kijk, hij kan dus zo en dan vind ik hem eigenlijk zo beter. Omdat je dan een soort van... En het komt eigenlijk van... Dat is heel interessant. Dat is weer dat... Vond ik op zich wel interessante collecties. Dat... Dit waren allemaal losse patronen. Zie je dat? Dus
Ja.
je kan hem zo opklappen. En zo werd hij gepresenteerd aan een haak. Dus patronen worden ook zo bewaard. Dus dit was geïnspireerd op een patronencollectie, zeg maar. En deze is wel grappig. Want deze die heeft zeg maar dat wel, ja... Nou, in ieder geval iets vrouwelijker. Die heeft, weet je wel? Dus die is...
En die draag je van achteren.
Wacht even, doe het nou fout? Ja, wacht even hoor.
Kun je helpen?
Ja, het gaat wel. Maar het is gewoon eigenlijk een heel simpel ding. Maar die tijd ging het natuurlijk om de... Kijk, zo draag je hem dan gewoon.
Ja.
Heel gaaf op zich.
Ja.
En daarom vind ik dit veel leuker op zich.
Ga je zo?
Kijk, en dan... Ik weet niet of het labeltje nu ziet, maar...
Ja.
Ik vind dit op zich veel leuker, omdat dit veel meer echt zijn werk was. Dat mensen echt zeggen, hè, heb je een jackie nou omgekeerd aan? Weet je, in die tijd was het best heftig.
Ja.
En het was ook de enige plek waar ik stage wilde lopen, omdat ik namelijk mode altijd heel... ik vond het tijdelijke eraan altijd heel jammer. Want ik dacht altijd toen al meer in de kunstrichting. Dus ik dacht, hé, maar zijn werk is echt... hij maakt gewoon objecten. En dat was toen in die tijd... hij heeft een beetje dat deconstructivisme in de mode bedacht. Toen werd dat gewoon echt... Het ging meer over het concept en over het statement... dan dat het ging over mooie kleertjes maken. En volgend jaar doen we het alles in het roze en dan alles in het blauw. En dan weer de zus, grote kraag, kleine kraag. Weet je, het was minder... Het ging minder over de techniek. Het ging meer over het gebaar. Ja, dat vonden wij in de academietijd natuurlijk super interessant. Hè? Dus dat je zeg maar mensen hebt die net iets aan het uitzoeken zijn. Net zoals jezelf zeg maar op school. En dan ging je de volgende steek doen. Zo op. Het grappige was dat ik zag altijd wel wie het had gedaan. Daar ben ik dan heel precies in. Als je het zo vaak hebt gedaan, dan op een gegeven moment dan deed je dat zo. En dan had je één kant vast. Hop. En dan ging je de andere kant doen. Dat is grappig. Nou, nee. Kijk. Dan heb je alvast dit. Dat deed je met 4 draden en dan zo'n stukje... wat is het? Wacht, toch? Echt, daar ging het dus om, hè, dat label. Ik durfde die labels ook bijna niet mee te jatten. Dat was echt net zo magic als dat hij zeg maar een soort van onzichtbaar was.
Het etiket, dat was een zeer duidelijk beeld. Dat kwam bijvoorbeeld van mij. Omdat ik mij kon inbeelden, als je in een winkel staat, met zoveel kleren, en je ziet daartussen kleren zonder naam, wilde dadelijk weten wie dat gemaakt heeft. En ik kon me dat zo visueel inbeelden, omdat ik een winkel gehad heb. En ik vond dat straf. Ik vond dat sterk. Zo heb ik het ook aan Martijn verkocht. Ik denk het eerste zei hij tegen mij, oh, dat gaan mijn ouders tristig vinden, dat mijn naam er niet op staat. Hij heeft erop nagedacht en dan heeft hij gezegd, oké, dat doen we. Wat ik wel moet zeggen, wat puur van Martijn komt, is die witte steken langs buiten. Voordat je dadelijk van ver kunt zien waarover dat gaat.
Oh my God. Somebody can help me?
Yeah. Sure.
Moet ik het doen?
Nee.
Oh, no, I can do it. No, they're not here. Sorry. I have this first pair, but I thought it was inside here. No. Yeah, brava, brava. Okay, so this pair actually, I had it. You see, it's totally worn out. Yeah, the tabi boot actually is the working man's shoe in Japan. And Martin just add this cylinder as a heel. And of course, because the house Margiela is not as, but we had this money and the models were paid with some outfits and a little bit of money. And for me, it was like, I can have even nothing, but I want a pair of tabis, you know, for this. Yeah, I used them until the end. At the very beginning, when people were coming to see the collection, the public for me was divided between people that they could really laugh around this. What's this? They were, for them, it was something totally awkward that they couldn't understand. Or they could cry by emotion, you know? Like, wow. I never saw something like this. So it was not something in the middle. It was always black and white.
Hate or love.
Ja, it was or hate or love.
Ik weet nog wel dat ik met Vicky in een tour moest doen rond Italië. Ik was haar chauffeur. En de mensen op de straat, want Vicky die kleedde zich dan ook van top tot teen, zoals de show aan. En daar waren er mensen op straat, die man en vrouw tegen elkaar, zo alsof dat zij gewoon, ik weet niet wat, een spook was of dat. En dat ik echt zo voor haar ging staan om haar bijna te moeten beschermen van de blikken. Dat was gewoon, weet, want zij had de schoenen aan en alles, hè. En dan Nee, dat was... mensen waren volledig gechoqueerd.
Loro possono entrare e fare le tue cose.
Ok, soffiarmi il naso,
sì, esatto.
piangere,
Esatto.
grattarmi la testa e soprattutto fumare. Martin, che la prima volta che l'ho visto, molto timido, era timido, non è vero? Era riservato. E poi da lì in poi è stato stupendo, perché io entravo in showroom, mi commuovevo, mi mettevo a piangere e Marta che arrivava mi diceva: che cos'hai, non stai bene? Dico: no, sto benissimo, ma sono commossa perché sei troppo bravo. Mi commuovo. Era difficile, però mi sono innamorata pazzamente e ho fatto un ordine consistente. La Jenny, qualche giorno dopo, non era mai successo con nessuna azienda. La Jenny qualche giorno dopo mi chiama per dirmi che forse ho ordinato un po' troppo, per cui forse è meglio che riduca un po' l'ordine, perché loro vogliono che i clienti vendano tutto e non abbiano rimanenze. Per cui ho seguito il consiglio e ho ridotto l'ordine. L'avrei ammazzata la Jenny in stagione, perché avrei venduto di tutto e di più. Allora, tutte le donne che erano insicure ed erano un po' bruttine, finalmente si sono sentite belle, si sono sentite sicure. Ha cambiato la vita a centinaia di persone che erano anonime o brutte, erano imbarazzate, invece con Marcella si sentivano sicure. E per cui è stata una cosa veramente unica, straordinaria.
In de modewereld was alles zo esthetisch, extreem. Hoe kunnen nu aan een vrouw vragen van zo perfect altijd te zijn? Hoe kunnen dat niet? Als je moet een huisvrouw zijn, kinderen hebben, een zaak runnen. Ik vond dat we toch moesten bijdragen van een ander soort vrouw op het podium te zetten. En ik heb toch fel aangedrongen dat er oudere vrouwen zouden tussen zitten. Vrouwen van straat. Een mengeling van mannelijkheid en vrouwelijkheid. Maar ik vond dat bij ons toch wel de image de marque. Dat maakte deel uit van het DNA van het huis.
I always felt like it left things open, you know? I couldn't say whether Margiela's women were sexy or whether they were glamorous or whether they were masculine or whether they, for me, they just seemed real in their possibilities. It was just open.
It's the person that makes the clothes and not the clothes the person. And Martin had the power, I think, and the vision to do garments that they were really becoming personal. And if somebody was feeling fine and had this sensibility, could really interpret the pieces.
Ja. Nog eens gezegd dat we er arriveren. Test foto van 2 minuten vorher.
Si tu commences pile, c'est à chaque fois.
Là, on s'arrête.
Le derrière.
Non, ça non, mais
Van het moment dat we wisten, toen de pers echt begon te schrijven, dat daar met momenten dingen in stonden wat echt, we zeiden van, dat was echt degoutant gewoon. Ik herinner me niet meer wat, hè, maar ik weet in ieder geval dat we niet akkoord waren. En dat we dat ook, ik spreek er altijd over wij, maar uiteindelijk moet ik spreken over zij. Dat was zo'n onbegrip. Terwijl dat verdorie zo'n sterk product was.
Martin heeft altijd al problemen gehad met de pers. Dat kostte aan hem heel veel energie. Hij stak daar ook heel veel energie in. Hij was dikwijls kwaad dat ze persoonlijke dingen vroegen, maar minder over zijn werk. Over een ogenblik heeft hij besloten, nu doe ik geen meer. Dat was een pure beslissing van hem, niet in overleg. En hij is er nooit op teruggekomen. En ik moet zeggen, ik was daar totaal akkoord mee.
there's a lot of confusion about this point, is that people feel that Martin always, prior to that, had always met the press. He'd always explained the collection to them, but they had a very privileged relationship with him. So in the political world, they would call the information that he gave them as a background briefing. For example, journalists often go to the Prime Minister's office in 10 Downing Street and they are briefed by the Prime Minister, but they quote sources close to, they don't quote the person. So Martin was meeting them all. So this thing that the press, that Martin had never been seen, in fact, that wasn't true, because there's a whole generation of journalists in Paris who met Martin at least twice a year when he was explaining his collection. What happened was that stopped.
I've never understood why, and it was never explained to me. Martin just said that he didn't want to. He felt like he didn't want to speak about the collection. But then I never understood why. I thought, okay, it must be a marketing thing. It must be something, you know, because otherwise I thought, you know, why wouldn't you talk about your collection? There's so many interesting things to say.
Were we not aware at all that had an effect, a mysterious effect? Yes, we were, though that wasn't the reason why we did it, but we knew that it was, you know, it was a win-win. But the other thing as well is a lot of journalists would complain about it. But yet, every journalist faces the same white page before they write their article. And the thing about not meeting Martin Margiela and the fact that he's mysterious, to the point that it got extremely boring, was already 3 or 4 paragraphs already written for them right there.
Dat mystificeren van een figuur, van een persoon, van een ontwerper, ofwel van de mensen die daar werkten, dat vonden wij natuurlijk ook stiekem toch best wel gaaf, hè? Dat we daar allemaal werkten. Ja, het is gewoon zo. Omdat je toch meedoet. Het is gewoon, als je die gek bent van die ontwerper of wat die maakt, dan ben je trots op. Dus je vindt het prettig om in dat clubje te zitten. Eventjes. En ik denk dat mystificeren van iets, dat is gewoon nog steeds belangrijk. Tuurlijk.
Heb je ooit, zeg maar...
Want je moet nooit, als je creatief bezig bent, moet je gewoon niet alles willen verklaren. Dus je moet ook dingen ingekapseld houden. Je moet dingen niet... Want dat heeft ook helemaal geen zin. Het mysterie moet hoog blijven.
Oh, that's how you use the... Kijk uit, because otherwise...
With the women's, he'd set up a vision that transformed people's idea of fashion. And I think with the men's, it would have been very easy to have done male versions of the women's clothes. But instead, it set up a different code, which was partly great taste in finding vintage pieces and remaking them.
How would you pick the man?
Well, I'd go out street casting in the evening, which in a way, it was a bit of a pain in the ass, but it was good fun too. I mean, that's actually a picture of Martin, but you can't really tell.
That talking. Are you shy? Could you go for weeks without saying a word to anybody? Yeah, and enjoy it. Yeah. Somebody said I never found a companion who was as companionable as solitude. I don't know who said it, but
So what kind of men were you designing for?
Ooh, well, I suppose there was a lot of him and a bit of me. People were asking me, what's he like? Because obviously nobody had ever seen a picture. I think the whole idea that, you know, Martin didn't want to use his face as a vehicle for the company was something that just seemed completely natural. there was a sense of loyalty that we all shared, of sort of protecting, not necessarily Martin, but protecting this place where we worked and all its values, for good or bad. So I think there was an element of a feeling that you had to be quite discreet and not necessarily talk too much about what went on in the company and how it worked. And again, that added to this feeling of being in a special place. I don't think there was much flamboyancy. I think there was a certain dryness. We weren't working in a library, but I do think there was possibly, maybe we also took ourselves too seriously.
So this is 2 bis Passage Ruelle. It's a small corridor and then a staircase that goes up, and the 2 really on the sides. This was Jenny's office. This was, I don't know, Patrick, I think. And then here was the commercial department. Me and Sophie, we were there.
Okay.
And Catherine. And upstairs was the design. Martin and everybody was in the middle. Yeah. And there is on this building, there is a roof, and we had the archive of Martin there. It was Alibaba's cave. Fantastic.
Oh yeah?
Yes, really nice. Because we had there was everything. Like the first, all the pieces from the first collections, etc. It was very nice. And a lot of vintage pieces too.
Vintage of him?
No, vintage from flea markets that they used as for inspiration and for details, etc., etc. A lot of beautiful things.
How do you remember his own atelier, so his own working space?
To be truly honest, I also did not went there regularly. It was not a space for us. It was more. It was Martin's space. We did not really go there. I mostly worked from the end of the afternoon to midnight. I said, it's really weird. I've never seen Martin because I'm arriving too late and all of them are gone. And she said, no, you have seen him yesterday. He was the guy with the Hoover. And it was something that was really... I mean, this is late 80s, beginning of the 90s. We are, and I'm in fashion, or I'm trying to be in fashion, and you get all these crazy stuff from Mugler or voilà, etc. And here you have a designer who's hoovering. I mean, it was really a different approach.
Hij komt wel over. Toen vond ik dat al, en dat werd natuurlijk alleen maar gestimuleerd naarmate iemand beter leert kennen. Als een charismatisch iemand, is natuurlijk een beetje clichématig om het zo te zeggen, maar iemand die heel erg op zichzelf. Dus gewoon heel erg intellectueel op zichzelf gesloten. Weet je wel, zoals vaak een maker is, die heeft gewoon tijd nodig voor zichzelf. En die kan niet sociaal en alles tegelijk zijn. Dus heel erg zo naar binnen gekeerd wel. Maar super zacht en vriendelijk. Weet je wel zo?
Ja.
Martin vind ik wel een kunstenaar. Mode is nu toevallig de manier die hij gebruikt heeft om zich te uiten. Maar hij zou morgen evengoed een conceptuele kunstenaar kunnen zijn. Een grote kunstenaar. Martin is iemand die alles op een kinderlijke manier voor hem ontwerpen. Hij is zo speels, is zo licht, zo... Verstaat je? Martin die kon beantwoorden aan alle genres. Dat vond ik zeer uitzonderlijk. Die zou bij iedereen groot geworden zijn, maar bij iedereen iemand anders.
Hoe was die wisselwerking tussen jou en zeg maar, of het team van Margiela in wat de stappen waren om iets strafs neer te zetten? Was dat iets wat echt bij jou uitkwam, wat gewoon nog steeds je eigen boeken, je eigen inspiratie, je tijdschrift was?
Nee, je moet niet vergeten, het is een samenwerking.
Ja.
Dus wat is het allerbelangrijkste? Dat is de ontwerper. Met de kleding. En ik ben daar gewoon een onderdeel van. Een klein onderdeel. Bepalend misschien, maar toch een klein onderdeel. Dus daar begint alles. En hetgeen wat ze mij brieven, of hetgeen wat ze mij doorgeven. Mijn momenten was Martijn soms specifiek. Mijn momenten iets minder specifiek. Kon ik het ook iets meer invullen. Het is altijd zo dat het werkt. Wat heel belangrijk geweest is in heel dat ding van Margiela, dat was een make-up die eigenlijk nooit niet volledig af was. Dat wil zeggen, hoe alle beautymerken hun eigen profileren, alles is gedaan. Dat wil zeggen, je hebt de huid die aangepakt wordt, je hebt de lippen, je hebt de ogen, in de ogen, je hebt de wenkbrauwen, je hebt de jukbeenderen. Alles wordt aangepakt. Bij de esthetiek van Margiela en de esthetiek van mij is altijd iets rauw laten. Gelijk, daar is die verfstreep een heel goed voorbeeld van. Je doopt je borstel in de verf, je zet dat over het gezicht in ene take. En je gaat daarna niet met een klein penseeltje nog dingen retouchen, gelijk ik gezien heb met kopies in Japan. Dat was de bedoeling niet. En de sterkte van al die make-ups was dat.
Well, there were themes sometimes. I mean, not always. Not always. Sometimes there were themes, but in knitwear it was often just about ideas, just about nice sweaters, interesting sweaters. You would go through stuff like you would go through I don't know fashion magazines from the 60s and 70s, or you go through books, and then you would pick out images where you would just think this is right for Margiela. This would be right. That's what you would to do.
Was everything intuitive in that sense?
Yeah, I think so. Like I would go into second-hand stores and go through stuff and think this would be nice. This would be nice.
But you could not describe for me.
No.
Why?
No. But I think often when we were doing things, because when we did fittings with Martin, when we were looking at ideas and things, often it was just doing something, you know, and think, oh, that looks nice, you know. Ah, j'aime bien ça. Ah, j'aime bien ça. Ah, ça c'est beau. And that was all there was to it. I think it didn't often go any further. There wasn't that much of a conceptual thing behind it. I know, obviously.
But how can that be? Because I think everybody from the outside world who will look at Margiela will say, oh, that's a very meaningful, very on purpose, very well thought of architect, structure, conceptual art, like
because
whatever.
Because it was thought about. It wasn't just taking stuff from magazines and doing them, you know, it wasn't just taking stuff from other designers and making it. It was his own way of thinking, but his own way of thinking he had put into place when he started the collection, so it was already there, you know. And once that the idea of making clothes in a certain way, like looking at the insides, looking at real clothes, looking how they're made, and then changing them around, it was always kind of the same way of working on clothes.
The clothes inspired the clothes, and I think that was also the nice or the fascinating part of the job, as opposed to having a theme or, you know, let's say a collection based on Marie Antoinette, or, you know, there was no strong theme, so it was clothes inspiring clothes. So we'd look at clothes to make new clothes.
Vous êtes fatigué, monsieur? Vous allez dormir, monsieur?
Oui, dormir. Rêver, peut-être. Vous êtes quoi exactement?
Je suis séductrice d'ordre 3.
Votre camarade n'est plus là.
Qui est Béatrice?
C'est pas blonde avec des longs jambes.
Non, elle travaille dans les immeubles périphériques. style ne fait que des remplacements.
Vous avez entendu parler des pays extérieurs?
Okay. And this is the front, you know, so as you can see, it's always, you know, like a patchwork of all the black dresses from the 50s, 40s, you know. And this is the same one, but with the colorful version. You know, in a small team, you do a lot, you know, different things. But basically, more and more, I was in charge of the artisanal production, you know. It was very free. Me, I was a flea market girl. I was always at the flea market to buy for the production, so my eyes were also very open, and I was trying to get things for the next collection, you know. With the artisanal, Martin could have really fun, you understand? Because it was very free, you know. It was just taking things together, cutting. It was really artistic, I could say, you know.
Sans que nous changeons de la rose. Ô bien-aimé de tous et bien-aimé d'un seul.
I think Martin came with some socks and he said, I want to do a socks jumper.
De loin en loin, dit la haine.
Of course, when you buy 10 pairs, it's very easy to find the right one. But after, when you have to buy 200 pairs, so that, you know, that's another problem. Huh? So to sell many of them is very complicated, you know. And I think what was, the big part of the artisan that we succeed to do that, you know.
Toutes les choses au hasard, tous les mots dits sans y penser.
This is to take some kind of the overproduction from the market and give it second life and make it beautiful. Not only useful and with the utilitarist idea about, you know, I take another jeans because nobody wear them, but make it part of the culture and put it culture again to something which pushing again the boundaries and frontiers. And it's still amazing aesthetic.
For Martin, he had the finger of God. That's a French expression. It means that for him it was easy. He knew. Because I've met some people who are very talented, but they do it with something which is a little bit painful. You understand? And here, Martin, I never felt that way. It seems like it was not painful at all, you know, to be creative and to know where I was going, you know. It was something a little bit obvious, you know.
Portava tutti i suoi disegni e disegno per disegno si parlava con lui di cosa lui voleva ottenere, cosa lui pensava di riuscire ad avere col filato quello che lui aveva disegnato. Quindi ti dava foto, ti dava messaggi, ti faceva capire cosa lui voleva. Tipo un punto, quando abbiamo fatto la Barbie, la bambola, lui voleva il vestitino della Barbie portato all'eccesso, quindi a misura d'uomo, quindi il punto della Barbie l'hai ingrandito, 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 ingrandito finché non hai vestito la tua donna.
Possibile.
Il più possibile. Tant'è che sembra di parlare di tanto tempo fa, parlare in questo modo, però tant'è che non esistevano neanche i ferri da lavorare a mano grossi come esistono adesso. I primi capi fatti grossi che voleva Martin li abbiamo fatti con i manici delle scope. Tagliato le scope, fatto dentro internamente nel laboratorio il capo, fatto a mano con i manici della scopa, perché non li vendevano. Adesso li trovi anche grossi così, però all'epoca non esistevano. Era tutto da inventare. Sì, avevamo molta libertà, perché quando lui ti dava una cosa ti dava delle idee, quando lui tornava la volta successiva, su ogni input che ti dava noi proponevamo tante cose e lui riusciva a lavorare su queste cose che gli davi, sceglieva quella che la sentiva più vicina e da lì, ecco, si iniziava a lavorare su qualcosa di concreto per arrivare ad avere quello che lui pensava di riuscire. Lui dopo se lo immaginava già fatto, costruito, e quindi era questo interessante. Infatti quando facevamo le prove con Deanna non buttavamo niente, non si buttava via niente, si faceva vedere anche proprio tutti gli errori a Martin, perché tante volte da degli errori, tra virgolette errori, non errori, ma cose che non erano state chieste o venute male, lui ha trovato spunto per fare le sue cose, il buco, la maglia tagliata, tutte queste mangiato, logorato, usato, tutte queste cose venute per errore a lui ha fatto creare.
What I really think was amazing with Jenny and Martin, that when they give you something to do after, if you're part of the team, of course, they completely trust you. So you do your job as well as you can, and you just come back to them, or because you finish, or because you have big problems that you cannot solve, you know? So I think it's very exciting to work this way, because you give the best, you know?
Margiela, it was total dedication, you know, it was you melt in the story because you feel how important it is, and this is why we said some people stay for ages. If you stay for long with them. If you go, you go practically right away, you know, there was no like a halfway people. It's love-hate, you know, situation.
In or out, yeah.
Exactly.
It became like a crowd of people who had an insight, understood it, and pushed the same thing that Martin was doing. So it became very strong. It grew, and it was not diluted. This was the place we moved to after Passage Ruelle. This is the third location. I don't know if you remember that picture from with Annie Leibovitz.
Yeah.
Actually, that was here. Actually, it wasn't. The setup was there.
Nice.
Yeah. And I remember that, 2 seconds before she started to shoot, she was screaming up there. She said, "Martin, this is the last chance to join the picture if you are here around somewhere."
She screamed.
Yeah, she was like, she did this big movement. It was very funny. And voila, but that was here.
Did she dislike the fact that he was not in the picture?
I think she was very unhappy about it. I think the outcome of the picture was very nice.
Yeah.
It was very meaningful for how the company was set. Also the fact that Jenny has a different color and all the other ones are in white blouses was visually very nice.
And the picture happened and was published, and we used to put all of our press up on the wall. We'd do this big collage. And I remember standing in the corridor with Martin, and we were looking at the press and whatever, and we were just going through things and what we liked and what we didn't like, or what he liked and didn't like. Then we came to this picture that was up on the wall, and he said, I feel that, you know, for him it was actually sort of a little bit insulting in a way. Insulting is probably a word that I'm using now. It's not necessarily the word that he used at the time. But he felt, you know, I'm presented by an absence, I'm not presented by a presence. And in that second he said it, I went, oh my God, we were caught at our own game in a way, because this was the first and only time that under my watch that we had overtly played the mystery game. And this was another instance of when we were confronted with possibly the ambiguity of what we had become. We got to a stage as the company moved on, there were things that needed to happen, and there were other commercial engagements that we needed to take on board that in a certain way required us to play the game a little bit more, or to be a little bit more open to the needs of the people that we're dealing with.
And I think that there is a point where, from a certain size onwards, it becomes more complicated. Because there are more, you have to speak to more people, and then you have to make compromises. And Margiela under Martin and Jenny was not so much about compromise, it was actually the opposite.
Voor mij werd het zwaarder om zwaarder. Omdat de zaak ook aan het groeien was. De verantwoordelijkheid lag hoger om hoger. Dus. Ik heb altijd lang termijn gedacht. Ik heb nooit kort termijn. Ik ben niet bekwaam van kort termijn te denken. Want dan zijn de commerciëler. Ik denk als je wilt behagen aan iedereen, dat je nergens komt.
Maar wie bepaalde de strategie?
Ik moest dat wel, want Martin was niet bekwaam van uit te drukken wat hij wou. Hij wou deel uitmaken van de beste. Maar hoe er geraken heeft hij mij nooit. Dat was ook niet duidelijk voor hem. Dus zijn eigen zaak, dat interesseerde hem totaal niet. Hij wou spelen, hij wou niet de gevolgen dragen. In sommige omstandigheden heb ik mij regelmatig alleen gevoeld in de zaak. Dat moet ik er wel bij zeggen.
Ja, dat werkt.
When I started taking pictures, I never had to try to do something. I could just take the pictures and that would be fine. I never earned money on them. I earned money on stupid pictures that I did. In the beginning, I remember that Martin, thanks to Jenny's support, he could be like really free. But later, you get the more pressure. Martin, he was always working like 7 days a week. He was always at the office. And I think he got tired. I mean, anyone would have.
The company got to a stage where it became more difficult for Jenny and Martin and their relationship. I think also because Martin wanted to focus on design and he wanted to have more of a private life. The flash of creativity is something that happens in a second. But maybe it takes months and months to actually develop that into a collection or an artwork if you're an artist, or an album if you're a musician. But sometimes in this world of commodifying things, there's a fear, creative people have a fear of showing that because it happened in a second, it seems easy and it can be reproduced once a second every hour for weeks. It doesn't happen. So that aspect of Martin needing that resource was something that as a team we always fully respected, because it wasn't for us to judge the alchemy, it wasn't for us to judge where his inspiration came from or how it came. It was just to accept the status quo, and if that's what he needed, that's what he got.
Na een poster kwamen er echt die-hard fans op, geobsedeerd. Het was alsof dat een soort van cult werd.
Dus was dat ook succes? Zou je die verandering ook als succes omschrijven?
Dat maakt deel uit van het succes, ja.
At Martin, at that time, it was a totally mono-love. Which customer on earth today has a monogam relationship with a brand? No one. The thing I still think is fabulous is we sold one day an empty page. There was just a price. Now, we didn't say what it was, and we actually didn't know what it was by the time when we were selling it. Everybody bought it. We built a fan club. It was a sect that had a cult following that was looking every season for what was in the cult. And they were following.
We were being asked increasingly to be part of exhibitions that were good for us as a company and also good for Martin, but Martin didn't have the time. He was too busy focusing on the collection. And those were things being done by other team members, Axel, myself, or other people, or Jenny, and a lot of the time Jenny. We would call these exhibitions Maison Martin Margiela. So that, and for many years you were invited to a Martin Margiela fashion show in Paris, but you would go to an exhibition in Kyoto or go to an exhibition in Rotterdam, or you'd go to an exhibition in Florence, and that exhibition would be Maison Martin Margiela. So it was a tacit and subtle way of telling people that this is what Martin is doing as a creative director, as a pure creative force, and this is what has been done by the spirit of a group of people, including Martin, including Jenny, including Patrick, including other people.
Patrick en ik hebben dat gedaan. Wij zijn er naartoe geweest, naar Boijmans. En toen dacht ik, het zou schoon zijn van het omgekeerd te doen. De mensen komen naar een museum voor de tentoonstelling, maar dat ze het dan buiten door de vensters zien. En dan, 's avonds, zijn Patrick en ik eens gaan eten. En dan is Patrick op het idee gekomen met die bacteriën. En zo is die tentoonstelling ontstaan.
En de catalogus. En wie heeft die gemaakt dan?
Patrick.
Hield Margiela zich daar zelf als persoon helemaal buiten?
Ja, totaal.
Is dit er überhaupt geweest dan?
Nee. Maar ik denk dat de mensen denken dat hij het geweest is die dat gedaan heeft.
Maar hoe werkt dat dan?
Dat is gerespecteerd altijd geworden door iedereen. Ik denk, zonder het te zeggen, kon dat heel goed voelen. wat de regels, de principes van het huis zijn.
As there was more attention on who we were, we had increasingly demands for interviews. And I would end up literally staying, waiting for the office to go quiet, and then I'd sit typing, doing interviews, and I would write them out and then we would send them out. And that's where we had the we.
Martin didn't speak. So we were the house. So the house was speaking, but the house were many people. So it was a we. It was very easy to use the we, and it was very acknowledged by the outside.
That maison thing ended up, especially after I left, being turned round to make it seem that Margiela was some sort of fashion kibbutz, and that decisions were taken collectively. Creative decisions were taken collectively. And we all know that there's nothing less democratic than the creative process.
What's interesting to me is, and that's what came out while I was thinking about this interview and while I was thinking about the history, was that it's the idea of we in that instance is a very complicated one. And that's maybe what makes this story interesting, because it's we as in something very positive, but it's also using the we for manipulation. So it's a very strange way of using the we, and that's, I think, what makes this particular story interesting.
For me, it was very good because at the beginning I was not sure of what I was doing. And when you write we, it's not you. So nobody can aggress you. So it was very easy in that sense. And I was very comfortable with it. And I still use it a lot today. For me, it's something that is one of the basics, because first of all, I'm not doing anything on my own. And second of all, I think it's respectful to, and I think it's respectful to have to speak in the plural of something that is done by many people. And lastly, for the same reason again, because then it's a common responsibility and not mine.
The more I stayed at Margiela, the smaller I became. We were giving so much, because what, that house at that moment, maybe today people also do it for the money, but at that moment, seriously, nobody who's working there was doing it for the money. Nobody. So in a way, we're doing it for the passion, out of the love for what we were doing there, But then even out of what we're doing there was nothing that we could claim for ourselves. You're left with nothing. When you constantly stress this is the work of a team, you take away people's individual worth, which is a very dangerous thing to do.
This film should also define where the we lives. In what room of the house does the we live? And the we lives in all that is around the design of the clothes. And the Martin, artistic director of the clothing, was also involved in the we and all of the rest. But we as a company were also operating under the strategic vision and direction of Jenny as Martin's business partner, and not creative partner, and Martin as the artistic director of the company. It was never a flat structure. So the we was not on the front door. The we existed on one floor of a house that had a creative director on the top floor.
So you see everyone contributed in being We Margiela at that time. With Jenny, of course, Patrick, Axel, Nina, Harley.
Where are you?
I'm with Christina, my best pal. And Virginie Paris,
Oh, yeah, you're
Frank, Silke, Stephanie, Adeline, Angelique, Fabrice. Oh my God, there's any name is memory. It was that group of people who make this work, who make this possible and who make it. It was never a question of salary. It was never a question of the professional growth, We never thought about that. We just live this with, you live it with your balls,
So what you're saying is that the we of Margiela is very true.
This is only one way to think about it. There's no, it's not even the question true or not. There's nothing else, It's really the only story of Margiela.
It's a bittersweet experience. It's not all positive, but it's not all negative either. But I was very young. Those years are very formative because you take everything so personal, everything is emotional, and I'm so emotional anyway. But I was even more at that moment, So you deal with these things obviously, and they stay with you. Like anything that's emotional stays with you.
There was something very nebulous and a little bit like a cloud in Margiela, in that people could project on it a lot, or it was also like, okay, here we go with the white, but it was a white screen on which people could project themselves a lot.
We hadden een kleine sociëteit in Italië en we hadden een joint venture in Japan. Als ik al die mensen moest samentellen, was dat toch een klein 100 man. Dat is toch niet min, hè? En ik moet zeggen, voor mij was dat heel zwaar. Mijn bekwaamheid in de structuur kwam aan zijn limiet. De rentabiliteit van de zaak liet mij niet toe van ons een grote wedden uit te betalen. Al het geld dat binnenkwam, dat geld had ik dan nodig voor te investeren in de zaak. En daar heeft Martin enorm van afgezien. Dat hij in feite privé niets kon, want een minimum had van te leven. Hij zei dat hem dan niet zou storen van commerciëler te werken. Maar tussen dat zeggen en doen, dan moet je totaal iets anders doen. Dan moet je een totaal ander uitgangspunt hebben. Ik stond daar totaal niet achter. Omdat ik altijd overtuigd was dat als je rechtlijnig bent en je blijft coherent in wat je doet, dat financieel resultaat komt. Hoe groot dat is, hangt van je inspanningen af. Zo zie ik het. Ik denk dat Martin dat totaal anders zag.
Je begint aan een verhaal met 2. Daar komen heel veel mensen bij. En op een gegeven moment ga je de dingen misschien anders zien en wil je er andere dingen uithalen.
There's no limited time of how you can be creative. But I think there is a limited time of how you can do things in a certain way. You have to grow. So if you have to grow certain things financially to give yourself the creative freedom, you have to do that. You can't carry on staying as you were.
Ken ik niet. Naar mij allemaal. Ja.
Zonder naar mij.
Ja.
De energie die er tussen Jenny en Martijn in het begin was, die dan denk ik door de jaren heen toch ook veranderd is en dat ze daar misschien ook niet meer de voldoening of de steun had die ze hoopte. Ik denk dat ze zich vaak alleen voelden op een gegeven moment.
Op het einde was ik de ontevredenheid financieel kotsende beu. Hè. Er komt een limiet. Ik was 58 jaar, moe. Ik had juist mijn moeder verloren ook. Ik had niet de energie voor terug een fight aan te gaan. Ik denk dat hij belief verloor. Geloof verloren was. Ik denk eerlijk gezegd dat Martijn pas het resultaat van al die inspanningen gezien heeft op het ogenblik dat we verkocht hebben. En dat hem dan beseft heeft wat zijn aandelen waard waren. Dat hij dan pas gezien heeft dat als ik al die inspanningen gevraagd heb, dat hij zag waarom dat ik ze gevraagd heb. Dat denk ik. Voor mij was dan eindelijk een cijfer dat bewees aan Martijn dat we toch wel iets waard waren. Alleen dat al voor mij was.
Een overwinning.
Ja. Was ik 4. Ja.
Jenny spoke to us about it.
Who do you mean with us?
Patrick and me, and I think there was Sophie, and I have a hole in the memory. I still remember the restaurant where it was. She said it would probably be a good idea for me to let the house grow into something more professional, something more organized, something that is more adapted to build a future also for Martin. And she put it out there as a reflection, and that was in January, I think. And the company was sold in July. Yeah.
And how did you react?
How should I react?
I don't know.
To be truly honest, I had no reaction because for me, whatever Jenny was deciding, that was her company.
Shock, yes. There's Jenny who stepped out of the house.
When
and there was the next question if Martin and Jenny will live at the same time and how it can be even without Jenny and Martin.
Did you discuss that?
Between us, of course. It was permanent between our level, of course, it was the permanent theme for the conversations. You know?
And what?
It's your life depend on.
Dus dan was de speeltijd voorbij, om het zo te zeggen. Hè? Dan was het... maar ja, toch wel, omdat er dan grote financiële implicaties waren.
En van het moment dat het verkocht geweest is, had ik nog altijd dezelfde samenwerking met hem, maar toch, je voelde dat er toch kleine veranderingen waren. In die zin van de casting die er gebeurde. Het waren, zo gezegd, tussen aanhalingstekens, Wat voor het grote publiek betekende de mooiere vrouwen. Iets minder karakterkoppen zaten erin. Het gezicht was niet altijd niet meer bedekt. Dus dat zijn wel de dingen die ik heb zien gebeuren.
En heb je eigenlijk ooit je afgevraagd of die verandering uit hem voortkwam of dat die voortkwam uit een andere...
Nee, ik wist wel waar die vanuit voortkwam. Het feit dat een huis verkocht wordt, dat wil zeggen dat de cijfers naar omhoog moeten, dat het publieker moet worden, dat het meer aandacht moet krijgen. Ja, dat is de bedoeling, hè. Dat weet je ook. Dus daar gaan we niet onnozel over doen, hè.
I think that a person that functions like Martin couldn't function in a context like this. It's not possible. But every creative person cannot be a machine that can, produce and people consume. It's not possible. This is not creation anymore. It's something else.
Zo'n statements als hij altijd maakte met al die collecties, zeg maar de eerste 10 jaar, dat kan je niet altijd blijven doen.
Waarom niet?
Nou, omdat het gewoon op een gegeven moment wordt een gimmick. Denk ik. Maar hij moet zichzelf blijven vernieuwen. Wil hij het leuk houden voor zichzelf? En dat moet je gewoon doen, want anders moet je gewoon kappen.
En
tenminste,
jij zegt...
Ik denk dat hij het gewoon... ik denk dat hij wat anders wilde. Dus ik denk dat Diesel, die hele overname, precies op het juiste moment is gekomen.
Ja? Was
Ja.
die zonder... Wil je daarmee zeggen dat hij zonder overname van Diesel ook gestopt was?
Denk het wel.
Waarom denk je dat?
Nou, hij vond dat groot worden helemaal niet zo relaxed.
Het moment dat ik besefte dat hij er niet meer was, was het moment dat Rihanna backstage stond. Het is een zeer onnozele anekdote, maar ineens stond Rihanna, en ik wist niet wie dat was. En heel veel mensen met mij wisten niet wie dat was. En die kwam vragen naar de designer, die er niet was. En toen dacht ik van, hier klopt iets niet. En dat was voor mij duidelijk.
Did you ever consider the idea that he was finished in a certain... creatively
Never.
finished? Never?
Never. Never.
Why not?
It would not cross my mind. No. I'm pretty sure that if today he would start to design something again and have a different project or whatever, it would work. You know what? It's not even the question. It's for me. I'm really looking at you and I'm thinking, what the hell is this question? No, of course. Of course, Martin could have continued if he wanted to, etc. There is no doubt.
Quando è uscito Margiela avevo già il negozio, credo, da 30 anni, ma non era mai capitata una cosa del genere e mai più nessuno ha fatto delle cose così. Un creativo come lui, un genio. Ah, signore. Accenderei i ceri perché tornasse, anche perché tornerebbe puro com'era. Non tornerebbe alle condizioni odierne. È certo che gli chiederei. E chi lo sa che un giorno non si svegli. Secondo me ne avrebbe di nuovo di cose da dire dopo tutte le sue esperienze di questi anni fuori dalla moda.
Just walk really natural, fast, walk fast. You don't stop at the end. Just if you stand straight, if you stop, don't pose. Yeah, don't go like this.
Yeah, I'm like...
Yeah.
Okay.
And don't go a little bit like
Wow,
this.
Rita.
No, that's easier. Rita, that's easier.
Rita, Rita.
I don't see it. You can go. Years later, I was sitting in a restaurant, and I see Martin walking towards me in the restaurant, and he was actually like before, and he said, "Oh my God, I haven't such a long time. Let's have lunch." And then we had lunch a week later, and it was great. It was really interesting because they said, "Well, what the heck are you doing now? Oh, nothing."
Is that what he said?
Yeah, what he said. Well, not like that. He said, no, I'm traveling around and I'm doing up my apartment and I'm doing some artist things and I'm like, I was laughing. But he said to me, it's funny because he said to me, because I said to him, but why did you leave like that? Why didn't you just go on? And he said, well, do you really want to grow in this business? And I said, I had to think about it. And I said, you know what? I actually love my job. I said, I have no idea of what I would do if I wouldn't do this anymore. So for the time being, I would have to answer that question with yes. You know, and I thought it was so incredible that he actually didn't enjoy his work, because that question implied in a way that he wasn't very happy. No?
The people that they left immediately, they went for something else.
Yeah.
But the people that they didn't leave immediately, they're still like me, you know?
How would you describe as you? What do you mean? Like limbo or?
Exactly.
And why is that, do you think?
Probably it's part of life also, you know? I don't know what to say.
Why?
Silence.
Mijn laatste dag. Ik denk dat ik totaal in stilte weggegaan ben. En ik heb dat ook redelijk bewust gedaan. Dat ik mijn laatste spullen ingepakt heb en die in mijn auto gezet heb. En ik ben gegaan. Zonder boe of ba. Ik hoor dat ik toch problemen heb met te spreken.
Ja. Uw adem.
Ja.
Oké. We moeten wel even stilte opnemen. Dat is belangrijk voor het knippen. Dus even 30 seconden of langer? Een minuutje. Oké.
Zet dus.
something. So I'm told by my friends. Looking for something to hold on. Demons in my neck, let summer take a toll. Glam in my eyes shine bright on my soul. Goes off a wax stick full with the pain and the same anxieties coming up again.
And your soul are never not one. I said you and your soul are never not one. Whoa, rise and shine, rise and shine, 'cause you and your soul are never not one. Hold on, yes. You gonna be okay. You gonna be okay. Everybody go through it. Everybody goes through it. You're gonna be alright. Just hold on to your mighty way of being.
So you're like talking about this idea of being called upon. Like for some reason, the first thing I heard was like this faint, irritating, incessant buzzer. And I think I heard it 3 times in my life. The first was within myself, to stop pretending, to stop